Hey guys, Stephanie here with the Aeroponic Tower channel. Today we're gonna harvest this napa cabbage, and this weather is amazing, but it's getting so dark so fast, so it's been hard to kind of keep up with harvesting and maintaining my towers. So I'm making sure to put note of that in my journal, and I'll link my journal below. I have a tower gardening journal that is designed to help you track all the things you learn throughout the year, because it's really easy to forget things like what it's like when you go from long days with lots of sun to with these really short days where I'm losing light super fast and it's getting cold. And so I just want to make sure I take note of all of that so I can have a better transition into the winter gardening next year. It's one of the tricks when we're growing both indoors and out. Even if you're just growing indoors, you will find plants follow certain patterns even when grown indoors, which is amazing to me. Like, I can start lettuce in the spring and it'll pop right up. I can start it in the fall and it'll pop right up. And I can keep my environment the exact same where I start my lettuce in the summer, and my lettuce will just give me the hardest time sprouting. And nothing's changed. I keep them at the same temperature, same areas, do everything the same. So just note, sometimes that is the nature of growing on towers and growing food in general. So the journal's set up to kind of help track those different things. When did you have the greatest success with this? So we need to harvest this napa cabbage, and I want to show you how to identify when your plants are mature and ready to be harvested, because we want our plants to hit that peak or harvest them before they go over that peak. Now, I didn't do that, and sometimes we can't help but do that. We can't always time that perfectly. And I actually think it's better to leave your food in the tower going over that peak until you can use it, rather than harvesting it and letting it sit inside where the nutrients can start to die off. So I've been waiting on time to produce my napa cabbage salad, and that's what we're gonna do today. So I'll show you guys how we make this amazing recipe. But first, let's look at how I know this is past its peak and we've kind of been going in the decline. Yeah, so here's my napa cabbage. When things like cabbage, look at this tree on my head. Can you guys see that? There's like an umbrella of peppers above my head. When your cabbage takes form, this is a napa cabbage, it's an Emiko napa cabbage. It's gonna take shape, and then it's gonna drop these outer leaves. And sometimes plants, as they grow, will drop outer leaves. That's common. Doesn't mean it's mature yet, it's just the nature of the plant. But there are some distinctive differences with this. We've got our head formed, and we've got these outer leaves. And then that's the first sign. We want to harvest this when that head forms and those first leaves droop down and they look brilliant and green and glossy and perfect. That's the peak. What's happened to mine is they've dropped down and they're dying. I've actually pulled off a couple of yellow leaves already. These have dropped down and they're dying. They don't look super great. It's kind of got a grayish color about it. It's not that deep, vibrant, glossy green on these leaves. These are still fine. I can still see nice gloss and shine inside these inner leaves, but these outer ones are starting to really deteriorate one at a time. So we hit our peak, and now we're kind of going over that. So we want to make sure to harvest this. So to harvest this, I'm going to take off these outer leaves. Now, if we would have harvested this at its peak, we could have eaten all these outer leaves and they would have tasted amazing and been nice and young and brilliant. Sorry, when I did this, I got dust like right in my throat. I've been joking. But these are older. These are going to be tough. These don't look so pretty. Look at that. That's not pretty. We don't need to eat that. This is chicken food. So I'm going to feed those to the chickens. And this one stayed on there so long. We got a caterpillar. So already I've had to pull off about 10 leaves. That could have been amazing food because I left this on too long. All right, and here's our final cabbage. So I lost some leaves, but I still have this gorgeous, it's so dense, it's so beautiful. So I still have this gorgeous head of lettuce that we can go make a salad with. So we're gonna go in and turn this into a delicious dinner. Hey guys, so it's the next day and I am going to make this cabbage salad. So this, I'm also juicing. I'm juicing a ton of tajimusai and greens for our trip. And I'm gonna turn this cabbage, and I harvested a couple of other ones, into just a simple salad that's gonna travel really easily, so I'll have food. So what do we need? We need to chop this up. All right, and here's the other cabbages. These are Golden Beauty. These are a Golden Beauty, but I had them growing in my baby greens section, and with the hot and the cold weather, they aren't gonna get much bigger than this. This is actually a really big cabbage when it's full grown, but I could tell, and I shared how we knew the other ones were ripe. They start to spread out. Look at this. This is supposed to be a really tall, skinny thing, and it started to drop all the leaves. So that's just telling me it's time. So we're gonna harvest all of these. We have some extra leaves. Feed those to the chickens. And I'm just gonna put it in this bowl to make it easy. And it's gonna be dark in here. It's dark outside. I like to use these napa cabbage and these Chinese cabbage because they have a good crunch to them and a mild flavor, and they're just so good. Okay. Look at that. So gorgeous. One of my favorite cabbages. This variety is the Emiko, but Napa cabbage in general is my favorite. They have such a good, I don't know, crunch to leaf ratio. Okay. All right, so this salad is only going to have a couple of ingredients. I'm gonna put some almonds in it. It's easier to do with silvered almonds, like sliced almonds, but I don't have those. So I'm gonna crush some regular almonds, oil, vinegar, and honey, and that's it. It's just super easy. I'm gonna dress it first and massage the dressing into this cabbage. And this is one of those that the more it sits, the better it gets. All right, so we're gonna make this dressing, and it's not an official recipe. I just do equal parts oil to honey vinegar. So not equal parts honey vinegar and oil, but whatever amount of oil I add, I will combine equal parts of apple cider vinegar and honey and make that equal to the amount of oil. And make sure to use a good quality olive oil. Most oils are adulterated with bad things. I get all of this at Azure. I have my Azure link on the bottom. All right, so that's our oil. And let's do vinegar. we're gonna shake this up. Kind of trying to emulsify it a little bit, which means makes it look like that. Gorgeous. I still see lots of honey though. It's almost like mustard now. All right, I'm gonna stick it on and massage it in and then tweak it. So just stick it on like that. And we're gonna massage it in. Come on, Brian. I used to eat this a lot when I went through a raw vegan diet, which was part of my healing journey. And I actually haven't made this in quite some time. But it's better as it sits. And I might add a little bit of apple cider vinegar independent. I'm also going to give this a little time to... Homegrown cabbage is different. It's good. Then store-bought, just a stronger flavor. So I want this to marinate a little bit before I try to add too much to it. And right now it's tasting really good. So the only other thing we do is add almonds. And I'm gonna add sesame seeds. These are black. Ooh, which actually is really lovely. Look at that. And I want this to have a little twang. It's a little oil heavy. I'm just gonna give it a little bite. And let me crush these almonds. To me, the almonds are what make it a meal. Hi, baby. Hi. This is why I said silvered almonds is easier. But this is what we have. All right. The good part about this is it's going to put small bits that'll kind of coat the lettuce, the cabbage, like a breadcrumb. And then there's going to be big chunks too. So it's going to be a nice texture. Okay, let's do a couple more. So I just eat simple foods. I don't really worry about protein and number of carbs and sugars and all of that stuff. I just try not to eat processed food. Now, of course, I don't do it perfectly. And I try to stay mostly plant-based, occasional egg for B12, and I like to make my own mayonnaise because I actually really like mayonnaise, and I think Vegenaise is probably not too healthy, even though I absolutely love Vegenaise. But I figured homemade mayonnaise with my really high quality olive oil and a homegrown egg is probably healthier. My arm's tired, so I'm gonna stop there. All right, that's it. Let's taste it. Oh, it's so good now. I think just that little extra zing from the apple cider vinegar did the trick. Sweet, tangy, savory, delish.